What's going on, everybody? It's Mr. Do It On. Today we're going to do two videos highlighting the NFC West, and the two teams we're going to highlight today are the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, these two teams are in a bit of a transition, so let's go ahead and talk about the Rams first. Now, obviously we know last year that they traded away the farm for Jared Goff, and I am in the boat that he is a bust. Now, it has nothing to do with talent. It's just more that the way he plays doesn't translate to the NFL for me. He came from a college spread and is transitioning to the under center role of a team. I mean, he has head coach now, Sean McVay, to go ahead and maybe get them more into a spread, but then that's where it's kind of hard. It's like, if you're a Rams fan, who do you want? Do you want to pound the rock with Todd Gurley, even though your offensive line is below average, or do you want to spread them out? They did just recently acquire Sammy Watkins, so they do have a number one receiver now, and they also have Robert Woods on the outside and Tavon Austin in the slot. Now, they got Robert Woods this past offseason as one of their veteran additions to go along with Andrew Whitworth to play left tackle. Huge upgrade over Greg Robinson. John Sullivan to play center. And they brought in, from the defensive side of the ball, Connor Barwin to play outside linebacker in their 3-4, and Nickel Roby-Coleman to, it looks like, be their slot. As you know how we do this, we go over some of their additions, some of their losses, schedule, win-loss, what we see from them. In terms of their losses, they lost out Kenny Britt. Kenny Britt went ahead and signed with the Cleveland Browns. Kenny Britt had a great year last year, no matter who was throwing him the ball. He did get rewarded. Lost Brian Quick, another failed draft pick for them. Greg Robinson, another failed draft pick. William Hayes, a veteran pass rusher. T.J. McDonald, Eugene Sims, Benny Cunningham, and Case Keenum. So they are really going to hand the keys over here to Jared Goff. Sean Mannion is giving them a run for giving Goff a run for his money, but you kind of have to put Goff in that situation to be able to develop, give him some playing time. This offense is below average because of their offensive line not opening up holes for Todd Gurley. The receivers, I mean, Sammy Watkins is healthy. He's a very talented receiver, but the big question is health. And then they have Robert Woods on the outside. Obviously, having someone like Sammy Watkins to take pressure off your number one, your number two, and number three guys. And they also have Cooper Kupp, somebody they drafted this past offseason, who's looked really strong in the preseason for them, and Goff is going to love throwing to him. This was a great pickup for them, something they obviously needed. Now, jumping to the defensive side of the ball, they are transitioning from a 4-3 to a 3-4 with Wade Phillips as their defensive coordinator now. So it'll be interesting to see how players like Aaron Donald, who excelled in the 4-3, transitions to 3-4. I think Aaron Donald is probably the best defensive tackle in the game. Somebody like Robert Quinn is going to transition from a 4-3 end to a 3-4 stand-up outside linebacker. I see it more as like Wade Phillips did coach in Dallas. See it more like fitting in with DeMarcus Ware. As long as you can get to the quarterback and you can drop every now and then, Wade Phillips will use you to your talents if you're a pass rusher. They have a great corner in Tremaine Johnson. Really come up the last couple years, and unfortunately he keeps getting franchise tagged, so he's kind of stuck there. At the middle linebackers, they have Mark Barron and Alec Ogletree. Pretty solid guys, but like I said, the transition to a 4-3 to a 3-4, your linebackers are expected to take on more blocks if the defensive front can't maintain a two-gap control. Now, jumping into our favorite part, their schedule, break it down a little bit, wins and losses. Now, they're having a pretty solid preseason right now. They're 2-0. They need to find a way to receive draft picks to keep building for Goff. So, let's go ahead and jump into their schedule here, okay? Versus Indianapolis to start the season, I'm going to give that one to the Rams. Indy doesn't look like they'll have Andrew Luck. Indianapolis also looks like a bad team right now, so I'm gonna give that one to the Rams. And then they got Washington at home. I'm gonna give that one a toss up. I feel like the Rams can, as talented as the Redskins' offensive line is, they can't get to the quarterback if they can keep it a close game. Maybe Washington does prevail. It's very possible, as Washington is uber talented on the offense with Kirk Cousins slinging it around. At San Francisco on a Thursday night, I'm gonna give that one to St. Louis, so they could start the season 2-1. At Dallas, that's a loss. Versus Seattle, that's a loss, so they'll be 2-3 probably. At Jacksonville, that should be a win if Blake Bortles is quarterback. Blake Bortles might lose his job. If Chad Henne plays, I feel like that's a toss-up game. Both teams are. Jacksonville has aspirations. When we get to the AFC South, we'll talk about the Jacksonville, but Jacksonville has aspirations to be a potential playoff team this year. In their division, that division is bad. And they got Arizona. I'm gonna give that one to Arizona. Bye week at the Giants, New York Giants. That's a loss. Versus Houston, that's a loss. At Minnesota. Minnesota's bad offensively. That's a toss-up. I'm going to give that one a toss-up, even though it is in Minnesota in November. Versus New Orleans, New Orleans is going to score on you. It's a loss. At Arizona, these NFC West teams, the Rams always play those NFC West teams tough. I feel like they always split with Arizona and Seattle, so I'm gonna have this one split. I'm gonna give this one to the Rams. Versus Philadelphia in LA. Toss up. Just because I feel like Philadelphia needs another year to grow with Carson Wentz. Maybe by the end of the year they'll be better. Just don't know. At Seattle, like I said, they always tend to split with Seattle and Arizona. So I'm going to go ahead and give that one a toss up. Just because they play them so tough for some reason. At Tennessee, that's a loss. And they should sweep the Giants. I mean, not the Giants, the Niners this year. Sorry, I was thinking about baseball. But they should sweep the Niners this year. The Niners are bad. The Niners are smart, though. They are using this year to obtain more draft picks and get rid of those veterans that they don't need for those draft picks. So, looking at what I went over, they could go 4-12, 5-11. I think that their ceiling is a 6-10 though. They could win some random games, just because of their defense. Their defense knows how to get after the quarterback. Obviously, that scheme fit could be a little bit of a problem, but that's what you have training camp for. Aaron Donald is holding out though, so that's not good. And their floor could be 1-15, 2-14, 3-13, somewhere around there. This is not a very talented team, but you know, they need a couple more years with Jared Goff. That'll just about do it. I'm sorry, Rams fans, that I had to do this to y'all, but y'all need a little bit of the truth serum that Jared Goff is a bust. As of right now, he is gonna bust. Sorry. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.